Well, good evening, and welcome to Bring It to the Table. Your host, Miss Gigi. I pray that everybody's had a great week and getting ready for the weekend and have been blessed throughout the week. As I say, get to the table, get your glass of wine, cup of coffee, tea, water, juice, whatever your taste buds call for this evening. We just want you to relax and enjoy. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. We're just going to talk and just have a nice bring it to the table conversation. And if you feel free to join in and call in and ask any questions and let's talk. I'm going to give you the request line, which is 310-910-9676, extension 1. Again, the request line is 310-910-9676, extension 1. And tonight is just going to be Carl and myself. We're just going to talk about a few things. We're just going to, as they say, we're just going to rap about a few things tonight. And that's because earlier this week, I had a couple of calls from people that asked me, how do you talk to a person that has had an amputation, or how do you talk to a person that's had any kind of physical disability or any type of limb loss? How do you talk to them? What do you say to them? How do we talk to them? Especially we that have all of our limbs. What do? We don't want to hurt no one's feelings. We don't want to be embarrassed about asking something that we shouldn't ask, or put them on a defensive end of the topo as they already are. So tonight we're just going to him and I are just going to really talk about some things, and we hope that the conversation that we have tonight will enlighten you when you walk into a room and you find someone that has had a limb loss or any type of disability and you want to get into a conversation. So we're just going to, like I said, bring it to the table, open it up, and we hope that you call in. And tonight is something new for us. We're on YouTube tonight. You can actually see us tonight, and you can listen real well. So I hope it all goes well tonight. Okay, let's get it started. But again, if you're just tuning in to us tonight, call 310-910-9676. That's the request line. If you have any questions, and we really want you to have questions, because we want you to feel free and speaking or talking with someone, or even just being in their presence. We want you to feel free and know that it's okay. All right. So, hey, Carl, how you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm good. How was your week?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that you, I know you're a man of God. I know that. But I understand you do a lot of cooking.
I do what I can.
I understand. I'm tell you something. You brought me by some homemade pound cake that you did.
Mm-hmm.
It was your mother's recipe. Mm-hmm. All I can say is my. I truly enjoyed it, and I just had the last piece last night with some nice vanilla ice cream on top.
Wow. Okay.
And I truly enjoyed it. But I understand you do something like this every Wednesday.
Yes.
You cater your food.
To seniors.
To seniors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know they bless, honey.
Yeah. They do what they can, and they enjoy every Wednesday.
And what's the menu?
It varies. It depends on the income for that week. This past Wednesday, I did smothered baked chicken with cabbage and wild rice.
My.
And a slice of cornbread.
All right. Oh, I wish I was on that end.
You're not considered a senior just yet.
Oh, really? I'm gonna thank you for that compliment. Yeah. So let's get started. Now, there was a question that was brought to me, and the question was, what do you say to someone who has lost their limb? What would you say to them? How would you talk to them?
Well, to be honest with you, I personally didn't notice, didn't see, and it didn't come into my presence or my space prior to my amputation. Mm-hmm. It's like when you buy a car, you don't see that car till you get it. But I didn't see or didn't really capture my attention the amputees that are on the street, at the bus stop, at the grocery store, or the various doctor's office. And until I became an amputee myself.
Right, and I can attest to that because I didn't either. But not only just being an amputee, we've come across before we were. You see someone that's in a wheelchair for some other type of sickness, or they have lost something of some other nature. How would you talk to them? Would you look at them any different? Yeah.
That's a good question because prior to my amputation, I have a cousin that's paralytic. He was paralyzed, got shot. And he was paralyzed probably about 15 years prior to me becoming an amputee. And I used to look at him with empathy and sympathy. But then when I became an amputee, I gained strength from him. To, seeing him pursue life after his loss of his using of his limbs. And I don't think he ever told him, but I think I mentioned it to him that when I first became an amputee, that he strengthened me by me just watching him continue to push and press forward, even in his situation.
Now, when did you know how to talk to him? Did you feel any way different in speaking with him? Did you have some kind of, what do I say? I don't want to say the wrong thing. Did you go through? And this was before you was an amputee, before you lost
process it.
So
you process stuff like that prior to even opening your mouth, because you don't want to walk up to a person. It's funny you asked that. I was just talking to a person just this morning. I lost a neighbor, my mother's best friend. She died this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so my cousin, when I told her about it, she knew the family, and she hangs up on me, but she picks the phone up and dials them. And the timing wasn't really right for you to express your empathy and sympathy because you don't have it together yourself. So your initial approach is you need to digest it and make sure you're right. You can't strengthen them if you broke down.
Right.
So it's like that. I couldn't strengthen him if I'm broke down and weak and being empathy and with sympathy because of his situation. So I made sure that I was strong enough to look at him, not talking to his limbs and talking to him, because I found that people talk to your limbs, the limbs you lost, like looking down at your legs, looking at your arms or whatever, and they've forgotten that you are a person. You still have life, you still have a heart, you still breathe. You just have different ways of moving and getting around.
And as you were saying that, I thought about it's the same thing when a person have just been told a friend or a family member have gone on to glory. Okay, they have passed away, and it doesn't have to be because of a limb loss or anything. They just have passed away. I think we all should take a breath before picking up the phone and calling that person to give your condolences, because you want to make sure you're saying the right thing and in the right tone. Because our tone means so much.
Very important.
It is very important because you can, and a lot of times, sometimes you don't realize your tone.
Yeah.
And if nobody brings it to your attention, you don't realize in the manner that you're speaking and in the tone that you're speaking.
Correct.
So I think we all should learn from, hey, you know what? Let me take a moment. Let me take a step back. It's not that I'm not going to call, but let me just take a step and take a breath, because this person has just lost a best friend or a loved one, and you knew the person. Everybody knew one another. So now the person had just called you to inform you, hey, you know what? Sister girl passed away, or brother passed away, or da-da-da. Okay, before you jump on the phone, or before you walk into their presence,
Get it together.
And take that deep breath and say, okay, now I can approach them in the right manner, and really ask the Lord to say, okay, I need you, Lord, to just calm me down.
Yeah.
Say,
because like you said, the initial approach of any of that situation, there should be a policy and procedure guide or of etiquette of how you talk to a person that just lost a loved one. It can be a mother, sister, brother, whatever. And if you are broken down yourself, you really are no good to that person at that moment.
And you can be broken down and going through something.
Yes.
In a struggle of something else that's going on in your life. And it doesn't have to be a sickness or anything of that nature. It can be any other thing that you're going through. And you're not being aware that whatever you're going through, when you open up your mouth to speak, it's that tone and the manner that
Yes,
it comes
ma'am.
out is because you're broken on the inside about
Correct.
whatever it is that you're going through, the
Yes,
challenges
ma'am.
that you're going through.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is very important to first take a deep breath, in that, because we don't know how we hurt one another or someone, and you mean well, but you still, it's in that tone and that manner that you go to that person in,
And I was telling someone else differently. I guess this is a pretty good subject. Your tone and your pitch changes the whole atmosphere of the approach. You can mean well, like, I wish you had put that over there, whether it's your child, your lover, or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you come at them another way, another tone, in a different approach, they can hear you. I used to have my godmother used to say, I really can't hear you for looking at you. I can't
that's
hear
something.
you for looking at you.
Wow, that's powerful. I can't hear you for looking at
Yes,
you,
ma'am. Yeah.
because I'm looking at you in a manner of which it blocks out that
Your message.
It does.
I don't even understand what you're saying. I don't even hear what you're saying because your body language, your approach, in the way you just, your effective doesn't come through. The effectiveness of your statement or your level of involvement to that person.
And people don't realize body language says a whole lot about a person.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Your
ma'am.
body language says a whole lot about you. I mentioned that to a friend of mine one day, and he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Your body language told it all." And your body language, we as women look at a man's body language. We know if we can catch that guy or not. It's by his language. It's by his body language. We know. Oh, you know what? He's very approachable. And he said, "Really?" I said, "Yes. We can look just like men look at us and say, oh yeah, she's real approachable." It's the body language. And it's the same thing in when we have lost a limb or when we have lost something. The body language tells it all.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It tells it all.
Totally
And
agree.
a lot of times people, like we were saying, don't know how to approach or don't know what to say when a person has lost a limb. And, it's important that when a person first loses their limb and you come in contact with them and their friend or family, it's okay to try to help them because they're just trying to get adjusted with that prosthetic or being in that wheelchair from being paralyzed or whatever. It's okay to approach them and to talk to them and ask them, okay, can I help you? Is something, how can I help you do this? It's okay in the very beginning, but you can't keep doing that. You can't lean on that all the time because there are times that they need to learn how to get around themselves and have to learn how to adjust to the new lifestyle and the instrument, because it's an instrument that the body is not accustomed to having. And a prosthetic is a heavy instrument, whether it's on your arm or your leg. Anything that's an instrument is very hard. So we have to learn how to adjust after a while. So a person can't keep coming to us or going to a person and saying, "Hey, can I help you? Can I help you do this? Can I help you do that?" In the very beginning, yes, but after a while, no, because they have to become confident within themselves.
Correct.
They have to become very comfortable within themselves, because if not, it's no help to them at all. So I don't know. It's more than a notion. Than when you're trying to be of an assistant to someone. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
Well, we as a people, I mean, you at the touch of Google or any form of instrument such as a phone, it's at our fingertips. You can Google how to handle this, how to approach this, you know, and it's easy. It's 1, 2, 3. I think one of my great nieces at 4 years old taught me how to speak into the microphone to text. And I kind of felt bad because she was 4 and I'm almost 40. You know what I mean? But she taught me something. You don't have to sit up there and type your statement. You can just speak into the microphone and say what you need to say. Sometimes you may have to correct, you know, that voice recording. But at the end of the day, we as a people, whether you're saved, whether you're following Christ, or whether you're just a person, learn how to treat people how you would like to be treated. You know, that goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah.
Even in your, and I hope I can say this right, even in your distress moment, you still want to be treated, you know, in a manner that is respected, even in you. But one thing I also learned, that when people come across someone that have lost a limb or paralyzed or, you know, whatever, there are certain things we don't say to them. We don't ask them personal things, because sometimes people ask us personal questions. That's not the time. In the very beginning, it's not the time.
What happened? How did they die? You know what I mean? Those are certain things that just shouldn't come up in your conversation. That it's better to be just leave it alone. Don't you ain't got to say much.
No.
You know, empathy and sympathy is not a whole novel when you approach the person. You know, what happened? You know, how long they've been sick? You know, was it cancer? What was it? Some things are not to be discussed outside the four walls. I was looking at my phone just a minute ago for a statement so I could bring it up, and I just found it. It says, "Never trust your tongue when your heart is bitter. Hush until you heal."
My, that's powerful.
You don't have to continue to express yourself, because for the most part you're hurt, and you empty, you're bitter. So keep quiet until you heal.
Right.
That'll be helpful to you and the next person.
Right. Because, you know, and that's something we all do. Well, what happened? How did you lose it?
Yeah.
And we never know if it's the person that's on the other side, if they just got out of the hospital, or they just been informed, and you come in and say, "Well, girl, what happened? How did you lose it? Was it?" Give us a minute.
It's a process on both sides.
It is.
If you're the amputee, don't take it too personal when the approach comes your way. Or if you just an ill person, you could be a Paralysician. I mean, it doesn't matter what your form of disability is. Be patient with the person that don't know.
Right.
Because they don't know what you're going through. They don't know what you've been through. And at the end of the day, they are unlearned of how to approach. You know?
And that's the reason why I think tonight's topic is so important, because I hope those that are out there listening will be able to understand a little bit more now, you know, and how to approach one, or when to approach one. And it's so important. And because it is very important to know how to approach one. And something else I did have to explain to my family, and I apologized on one hand, but on the other hand, I didn't have to apologize, but it was a learning process for me and for my family. And I say that in this fact. Before I had my surgery, I was in a wheelchair. My attitude was, oh, I'm bringing it to the table now. My attitude was funky.
Bitter. Yeah, bitter.
Funky. On top of bitter. Because I was in pain.
Yeah.
And they didn't know I was in pain.
Hurt.
I was
Just
hurt.
What I said, you was hurt.
Yes.
You were bitter.
But this was way before I knew I had to have the amputation. I was going through all this. People hide their pain. They don't always say I'm in pain. And my attitude had changed so much. And it was not until after I had the surgery, then I had to let them know, hey, you know what? I was just in a lot of pain. And I have also counseled with other family members about their family that's going through something. I said, don't take it personal. I said, because they're going through a lot of pain. And that morning when they wake up, they have no idea what pain they're going to go through, how much pain they're going to go through. Their attitude and their train of thought is really, it's not pleasing at all. So understand when a person is sick and their attitude, it's because of the pain that they're in.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was not until I explained it to some of my family members, then they understood. They said, okay, I understand. And I have some friends right now that have family members that are going through something, and their attitude is so bad. I said, hey, let me say this to you. It's because they're probably in a lot of pain right now. It's because, they're going through some sickness, but they're in pain. And a lot of times people don't want to always talk about it. Every time you pick up the phone and call and ask them how they're doing, they all want to always say, I'm in pain. They don't want to do that all the time.
They camouflage it.
Exactly.
They cover it up.
Exactly.
And that you don't even have to be a Paralesian or an amputee. We have other things that have caused hurt to our heart, our souls, and our minds, and our bodies. You can just use the same analogy, process and procedure. There's a process, and there's a procedure how you approach a person, and just learn it. We're unlearned. The Bible says, "My people lack of knowledge because my people perish because of lack of knowledge."
Right, yeah. right. I'm going to take a minute because I got something else I want to talk about. I'm going to take a minute. I want to listen to your mystical journey right now. Let them hear that for a minute, and we'll be right back. In the very beginning, when I started talking about doing the YouTube and the podcast, and not knowing what kind of music I wanted to have, and mentioned it to a friend of mine, and she said, I have somebody for you. And so happened, his name is Lehman Scott, and he's just an awesome musician, an awesome writer, and he came up with this song, and I love it, and I've had a lot of compliments regarding the song. And if you want to learn more about Lehman Scott, go to his website, which is LES-WORMUSIK, LessWorthMusicProduction.com. Check him out. He has some great sounds. And I also want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to all of our guy that does all of our cars. He details our cars. He washes our cars. He keeps them looking good. I want to say hello to Mr. Glenn. He's the owner of the detailing business that he went to become certified in, which is awesome because you don't have many people that are certified in this business. They like to do cars. They like to go out and wash and wax cars, but he's particular, so he went to school and got the knowledge, which is very good. And it's Exclusive Auto Touch, which is really a good detailing business, and I have to push him because he's dear to me. Give him a call at 626 328-0435. You can also go to his website, which is eatdetailing.com. That's EATDETAILING.com. Check him out. And I know that a lot of the guys like to have this ceramic coating on their cars, and it's really, really expensive. And I had no idea until he said, well, if they mention your podcast or YouTube, they get $150 off. I said, if they get $150 off, then it must be really expensive to have done. He said, yes, it is. So check Mr. Glenn out at Exclusive Auto Touch. The number again is 626-328-0435, and the website eatdetailing.com. Check him out. Also, because I an hour goes by so fast, there's only so much that you can say and do. So I want to try to get a lot of things out of the way so we can get back into our conversation. If you have a particular topic that you want to bring to the table, please email me at bringittoThetable. But the email address is BRINGGIGI, the number 2, the table @gmail.com. That's bring Gigi to the table @gmail.com. And if you want to talk to me on a personal level, because there's some things you may want to share or get some feel comfortable about, give me a call. That's 323-990-2119. A lot of times we want to talk to people, but we don't feel free and comfortable in talking to our loved ones or family members. We'll talk to a stranger. We'll listen to a stranger quicker. Not that I want to be a stranger, but feel free to call me at 323-990-2119. Again, let's bring the topic to the table. We want to hear it, and we want to help those out there that needs to hear some positive things of how one got through whatever it is that you may be going through. Give me a call. And I have to give a shout out. I had a couple of new people that enjoyed the podcast, and they're looking forward to it being on YouTube, and they just like the topics, and they like what they hear. And they want to be a part, and they want to sponsor a podcast. Now, you can be a sponsor and sponsor 5 months. You can sponsor a month. It's up to you, but you can be a sponsor of this podcast. And now YouTube. And I want to thank Mr. Jeffrey Cannon of South Coast Marketing in South Carolina. I thank you for being a part, and thanking you for wanting to sponsor. Also, I want to thank Alice Turner from Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much, Alice. I love it. Thank you for your support. And also, and I think I did mention Patricia Hicks from Altadena and Shirley Pouncey from Los Angeles. Thank you so much for wanting to be a sponsor and want to sponsor one of the podcasts. Thank you so much again. I can't do it without you, and the number one person is the Lord. I can't do it without him, and after him opening up the doors to allow you to place it upon your heart to want to be a sponsor, thank you so much. And I have some personal friends out there, if you want to sponsor, give me a call and I'll let you know how to go about it. But actually, you can just go to the website. And I would like for you to go to the website anyway, because I would like for you to just take a look at what J-Lynn All-American Amputee Foundation does. And that's, I'm the founder. And actually, J-Lynn helps sponsors this podcast as well. So check us out. Go to J-Lynn and look at what's going on and see all the things that we do. And I guarantee you will really be totally surprised. I'm trying to look for something here for you, but anyway, go to the website and check it out, okay? And the website is jlynaaaafoundation.org. Again, that's jlynaaaafoundation.org. Go check it out, all right? Now, let's get back to this here. I wanted to talk about something here, Carl, because it happened to me. And I had to learn from it. I did learn from it. When you start dating, you have to know when, as they say, when to fold and when not to fold. And I say that, and when to tell a person that you're an amputee. There was a guy that I went to high school with. And matter of fact, we liked each other a whole lot. And we went to the prom together. And he had me laughing. He said, I take it to the prom, but nothing else we couldn't continue on a stronger relationship, because he said he was a bad boy, and he knew my parents wasn't going to allow no bad boys, but he was a PK kid. Now he was a preacher's kid, but he said he was a bad boy, but so we went to the prom together. After high school, we kind of lost touch, and then years later I ran into him at a service station over there on Gage, and I don't think that's Gage in Florence or somewhere, and we were so happy to see each other. And I was living in Inglewood at the time, and we was happy to see each other, and so we started kind of kicking it a little bit. But again, I was busy, he was busy, and we were very close, because when I was in my career, and whenever I came home, he would always pick me up from the airport. So we had a good connection. And then after that, we lost contact. So many years, we ran back into each other, and we ran back into each other through another mutual friend, and a friend of another young lady that I went to school with was friends with his sister, and her sister had passed away, and so naturally I was there at the service, and it was at this particular person's father's church. Okay, so so when I went to his sister, I said, hey, I said, well, tell your brother I said hello. And she did. The next thing I know, I got a call, hey, he wants you to call him. And so we hooked back up again, and talking, and a good conversation, just bringing each other up to date on what had happened in our lives since the last time we saw each other. And he opened up to me about his sickness. I mean, he really opened up to me, but I didn't open up to him. Okay. And when I did, it was only because he had invited me out to come and see him. And he lived in Paris, California. So he invited me out. So 3 days before I'm to go out to visit him, for us to see each other for the first time after almost 30 some years plus, whatever, I tell him that I'm an amputee. I tell him that. He listened to me, but then after that, I didn't talk to him for almost a month. He didn't answer my phone calls. He didn't return no messages, and he wasn't calling. And after a month, he called me, and I was glad to hear from him. And he said to me, why did you not tell me in the beginning? I poured my heart out to you with all the things that I had been going through, I had gone through with my health, and you listened, but you never said a word. He said, that hurted me, because you didn't think enough of me to tell me. And I apologized. I did. I apologized. He accepted it. After a while, he accepted it. And so we finally, we got through that, and then we started hanging out, and everything became okay, and we became close again. But I learned from that. I learned, and my reasoning, I don't know if my reasoning was right or not, but my reasoning for not saying anything, because I didn't know where the relationship was going to go. So I don't know if it's right or wrong to say it in the very beginning stages. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well, to each his own. Every situation is different. Every case is different. Every person is different. So once you're comfortable with expressing yourself, opening up to the person to inform them of your situation, You can call it a disability. You can call it a limb loss. You can call it an amputee. You can call it a heart attack. You can call it brain surgery. You can call it, any title, because we all hurt. My hurt may not be your hurt, and yours may not be mine, but we all hurt. We're human. So my disability is no different than you being cheated on, per se. It's all a cut. It's a hurt. So once I made the statement, you got to heal. You got to be able to say, you know what, I'm ready to do this all over again. I've been cheated on. I've been hurt. I've been used. I've been abused. But you got to heal and move forward. And it's a process. It's a procedure that we all have to go through. Some people get out of one relationship into another, and they taking luggage from the last relationship into the new one. That's why it don't last. That's why it doesn't go that far. So we as a people have to learn how to heal, process it, move forward, and just be straightforward with the person. I find it very hard to be the first conversation. I learned, I've dated several people since I've been an amputee, and some are ready and some can't accept it.
Now, do you, and you might have already explained this, but now, do you talk about it if you know you want to go forward with that person? Now, just on an everyday basis, I don't talk about it. I don't go into it because it's nothing to talk about. But now when you're talking about being on a personal level, and you're looking at being personal with this individual, do you talk about it in the very beginning? Do you let them know in the very beginning? Because your thought and what you see, you want to go forward with this young lady. So do you mention to her, okay, I am?
Not initially, not going in. I'm learning this person. You're learning me. I don't know whether her teeth come off, her hair come off, her breasts come off. I don't know that much about her. She have not opened herself on that level. And I pretty much, ladies first. Let me know what comes off of you. And it may make me more comfortable to let you know what all is going on with me.
But if you're looking at being an item,
correct.
Do you still wait? Or what do you, how do you?
I said ladies are first.
You want her to say?
I'm a gentleman. I want to know where you're coming from. First of all, I've learned in my dating world, I want to know your heart. When you learn my heart, you can love me unconditionally, and it will reciprocate itself. And if I see that it's reciprocating itself, then I'm interested. I'll go all the way. You call me the one-legged bandit. I got one leg. I have a half a foot. I'm diabetic, but I have a big heart. If you're out there, it's me. I love God, and I know how to treat you. But I can't give you that. You can't. If you don't give me the opportunity, you'll never know.
Right. Because it hurted me in the very, because I didn't, and he wasn't a stranger, not really. Because we just hadn't seen each other, but we knew each other. And he was always in my heart. I always thought about him. And I would, from time to time, I would always drive down his street. His mom still lived there. And I would drive down and I said, I wonder how it is, And it was very not me going out of my way because my sister lived in the same area, so it wasn't just me just passing by just to be passing by. But so I was hurt that I didn't say anything when he was opening up about himself, and he asked me, well, what was going on with you, how you been? That was the time for me to really say.
Correct.
But I didn't. I don't know if I was embarrassed or shamed. I don't know. But what I do know is that it hurted him because I was not upfront and honest, and I didn't think he felt I didn't think enough of him. Correct. To tell him, hey, come on. And he knows me because he called me by my nickname. You know what I'm saying?
Timing is everything.
He
Male
said,
or female.
He said, all right, he said, all right now, Cookie. You know, come on. You mean you mean to tell me you couldn't tell me this, and I opened up my heart to you?
That's reciprocation. He loves you unconditionally,
and you couldn't tell me. So it took him a minute, but in the month that he, pushed back, it was not because of me being an amputee. It was because I did not tell him. It didn't matter to him whether I had lost my leg or not. It didn't matter to him. But what mattered is that I didn't tell him. Yeah.
That's a good man.
Yeah. So I learned from that. I love him dearly. He's gone on to be with the Lord. But I learned from that. And now, if it's someone that's if it looks like we're going on that togetherness path, I will say.
I think that's a good time, because you don't just walk up, hi, my name is such and so and so. I am an amputee. What about you? You know what I mean? You get to know a person, you feeling them out, they're feeling you out. I think timing is everything, but I also think that it will happen when it's supposed to.
Yeah. And the only time you do that, hello, I am an amputee, is when we're sitting in a group, support group.
Correct.
That's the only time that we do that. Other than that, we don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And because so it's something. We go through something mentally. Let me mention this number, because I think we have some people that's trying to call in. Let me give you the number again. The request line is 310-910-9676. Again, the request line is 310-910-9676, extension 1. Okay, there it is. So if you want to call in, go ahead and call in. We'd be glad to take your conversation, your questions. Yes. We have a caller? Caller?
Yes.
Hi, who am I speaking with?
I know this might be a surprise, but you're actually speaking to your son.
Oh, well, hello there.
I do have a question, but I want to address this question to both of you, and this is a question that I've never even asked you in all the years of you going through your new life as an amputee. But this question is for both of you guys. With you speaking about dating and dating those who are not amputees, and when is the right time to actually bring that up in conversation, have either one of you actually dated someone who has been an amputee of some sort, and you both find yourself trying to figure out the right time to speak on being an amputee, or has it always been somewhat like a shy moment or a struggle moment for either one of you?
Carl?
That's a good question. I think it's a struggle. It's, one of my friends told me, why don't you try dating another amputee? And that was like maybe 6 months to a year ago. Never thought about it, but it stuck in my mind. And I said, you know what? That's not bad. And then prior to the amputation, why don't you try dating someone out your race and all the above? I said, well, that's not bad either. But this is a part of the question that I asked God. What is it that you're trying to do? What do you need me to do for you? And I found out through my amputation that I am an encourager, and I do encourage. So I think I will look up in the dating world, amputees looking for love.
That's it.
I may consider that. That may be a good little hot topic.
Yeah.
We're gonna single amputees looking for love.
We're gonna bring that to the table next. We're gonna work
like
that.
You see what you birthed, man?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, man. Well, for me, I have not dated anyone that's an amputee.
Neither have I.
I haven't. I've dated someone that had physical challenges, you know what I'm saying? Kidneys and, just had some physical challenges. But now I often think about it, I think about dating someone that's an amputee because they understand the pain that we go through. But my thing is, do I want to date someone that have I'm a right foot. My limb loss is on the right side.
Mine is on the
Now,
left.
do I want to date somebody that has this on the left side? Because I'm a dancer, and I want them to know how to dance. So now, how does that work? So these are the questions I ask myself. Do I want to date somebody that's an amputee because they understand how we feel? So it's I haven't tried it, so I don't know, but I
That's
haven't.
a very good question, though. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Well,
but
I appreciate both of you, and I continue to pray for both of you, and congratulations on the podcast.
Thank you.
And the Word of God says that He wants us to be with those that are like-minded people. So
Explain, please.
in your journey of being with like-minded people, of course you want people who love God, but then you want to be able to find yourself fellowshipping and worshiping and being able to date someone who is like-minded. So perhaps there is someone out there who is looking for love as an amputee, as you would say. So perhaps that is a hot topic for Bring It to the Table.
Hello.
My.
Almost bring it to the bedroom, huh? Not right then and there. I'm just saying.
Right.
We're
Eventually.
gonna gradually get there.
Yeah.
Indeed. So
Yeah.
it's something that's something worth
Man, I
looking
like
into.
that.
I like that question too.
Yeah, that was very good.
Very good. And then not only is it a good question, but it's a good mental thought to be something to be thinking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And especially for me. Now, for me, yeah.
Well, even for me too. I mean, I'm up in age myself. And I always had the thought process: nothing get old but clothes. But at the end of the day, I can take my leg off. You take your hair off. You take some other things off. We can be even.
And then you know what? Also, what's good about this question, for me, is dating someone that's just like me that has a limb loss is because now when we go out, I don't have to worry about you looking at somebody that have all their limbs.
Well, no.
I mean, for me,
Okay.
as a woman,
Okay.
and being out with the gentleman that I'm with, I'm worried. Okay, she has all her limbs. These are some of the things that we as women think about and go through. She has all her limbs. She looks real good. Now, is he looking at her? So I think for me. And it could be the same thing, even if they have, if I'm dating somebody that.
I was going to say.
It can go both ways, but I'm a little more comfortable.
When you window shop.
You window shop. But I'm a little more comfortable. I'll be a little more comfortable because that person has a limb loss too. So I'm a little more comfortable of him looking at her if she has a limb loss. I'm a little more comfortable versus someone that has all their limbs, because if he knows what he have to go through with having a limb loss. So I'm a little more comfortable.
It's challenges all the way around, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Before I became an amputee, it was challenges. There was difference. We come from two different backgrounds trying to make it happen. If we just stop pointing fingers and start learning a person's heart, that's where it starts. Learn my heart. Learn that I can love you unconditionally, and you can get past my condition. You can get past this limb loss. Because I have a lot more to give other than a leg.
Yeah, I hear you.
That one.
Yeah, I thank you so much. Now, I need to ask Glenn.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you on the podcast, or are you looking at this on YouTube? How are you?
I am actually watching you guys on YouTube. I think you guys are looking great.
Wow.
This is pretty awesome. I'm so excited for you both. I am going to sit here and enjoy the rest of this on YouTube, and not to make you guys jealous, but I'm enjoying it with a bucket of popcorn right now.
Well, I love it. I love it.
You guys enjoy. Thank you for taking my question. Peace and blessings to you both.
Likewise.
God bless.
Thank you.
And I'm going to get off this line, so somebody else may be trying to call in with a question. And
okay, thank you. It was a great question. Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you so much.
appreciate it.
As a matter of fact,
Yes,
it's a question that we're going to bring. It's a topic that we're going to bring to the table.
Eye opener for me.
Yes, thank you. Have a blessed one.
you're welcome. You too.
That was a good question. I never thought about it. It was a good question. Yeah. And for those that are watching YouTube or looking at, I had no idea that he was going to call in. You know,
Perfect
but,
timing.
Perfect timing. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect timing. But yeah, so I've learned from that. You know, when I learn now how to approach it. You know, if it's someone that we're looking at taking the friendship a little bit further, I know how to approach it now, a lot different than before. You know, so it's just that there's so much that, and I hope that it's not just for being an amputee. It's whatever a person's physical challenges are. You have to be upfront and honest
Yes, ma'am.
about your physical
Yes, ma'am.
challenges with somebody, especially if you're seeing each other, you're constantly talking to each other, and even if you're having a personal relationship, and you're item, you're a pair, be upfront with that person about your
You have to
physical.
be. You have to be.
Don't wait until further down the line and you done walk down the aisle with somebody and now you done tell them, hey, I got this, or I've got
agree.
that.
I agree.
Tell them in the very beginning and let them make the decision that, hey, okay, we can do this together. We can handle this together. Or either give them the opportunity to stay at the table or push back from the table.
I agree.
You know, and so many people are hurt by it because the person that they're with are not being honest about what they're going through. So it's not always something that you can see on the outside. It's what's going on in the inside.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's going on inside. So, and a lot of loved ones have lost loved ones because of being dishonest and did not want to
Yeah.
deal with the challenges of what comes along with going to the doctor and taking all these pills, and they don't want to do all that. They don't want to be a part of that. You know, so if you don't want to be a part of it, let me be upfront and honest in the beginning, so I know what to do and move on. And everybody's okay with it. You know, should be anyway.
Yep, I agree.
You know, so yeah. Anything else you want to add to this, bringing it to the table with relationships and?
I think you
honest?
brought it to the table that today. It was a very good subject, very good topic, and the phone call was very relevant. You know, perfect timing with your son calling in, asking the question, and it makes you think 3 or 4 times. You know, it's somebody for everybody,
It is.
and I do believe that. And I'm just, you know, searching, waiting. You know, I'm still working on me, and God is still working on me. But at the same time, everybody wants somebody. Everybody needs somebody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Even us amputees.
That's for sure.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we want somebody that want to be with us. You know, want to be with us because it's so important. We got another caller. Okay.
I don't want to talk about
Caller?
a topic, actually.
Caller. Hello.
Hello?
Yes. Who am I speaking with?
This is Mr. Williams.
Okay, Mr. Williams. What is
Yeah,
your What is your
I
question?
was listening to you live here on YouTube now. But in the topic you were bringing up about attitudes, you know, people that have lost a limb in the past. And let me just say this. When you were talking about the subject about attitude, I mean, I've dealt with it for over 30 years on the job I worked on with public transit. I mean, because we up under that ADA rule with public transit. So I dealt with people of all walks of life every day that I worked. And so you had some that had attitude, but you had some people that just basically got on there and just basically told their life stories
Yes.
along the way with their ride to where they were going to their destinations. So this is something that, you know, that people need to understand, I think, because you don't know where these people or what they have been going through, or where they came from, or as far as how their day has even gone, when you come in contact with them, you know, you just don't know.
No, you don't. You're right. You really don't
Yeah, so
know.
they always have, you know, they always have something going on in their life, and you just don't know. That's something you don't really pry into. as far as asking them, their problems or their, ups and downs or changes and turnarounds and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it's,
But-
you're right. You're right. And I thank you for your call. You're absolutely right. And it's something we as amputees have to deal with and have to understand. It's our journey. It's our story, and we have to have a way of carrying our attitude in a pleasant way, even when we're going through, so that the next
Right.
person, yeah, we do, so that when the next person or our co-workers or our families, we can't put that stress on them. We have to have the proper attitude in order for them to have the proper attitude towards us, because
it's a process.
it's a process, and it starts with us. It starts with us,
Right.
It really do.
Yep.
But yeah, it starts with us, Mr. Williams.
And God makes all the difference in the world. If you have Christ in your life, He'll give you that peace that surpass your own understanding.
Right.
You don't even understand where the peace comes from.
Yeah.
Why am I so at peace? Because of God.
Yeah. Yeah. I thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for your call.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then there was one other thing I want to talk about also, I want to ask you about, because I heard you mentioning about with dating someone who also has a limb, and then you were talking about how yours is on the right, and you want, because you like to dance, you were saying, so you want his to be possibly on the left.
Possibly, but not necessarily. Possibly.
Yeah, not necessarily, but
Right.
but possibly, and that, it'll work out better because you say you like to dance and all. Because, like, for example, like stepping, I go to stepping classes now.
Okay.
So, but stepping is a step count. So, like, if the young ladies gonna start off on their left, and the guys always start off on their right. So that can always be switched up the opposite way also.
Right.
I mean, if he has the limb on the left, then you just start on your right.
That's
he
it.
starts on his left.
There you go. I think
It's all he has to
it's
do.
all right. I thank you so much. Call me next Friday, and we can talk some more on this, because we only have an hour, and I think I got about 2 minutes. But thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thank you
Okay,
so
yeah.
much. And
Well, I'll see you around the way in the complex where I live at.
oh, okay. All right, I
Yeah.
love it. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. You have
Okay.
a good one. Again.
All right, you too.
All right, again, it's that time, and as I say, let me hear from you next week. Carl, thank you so much. This has been joyful, and we're going to do this again.
Likewise.
And as I always say before I leave here, peace, one love.
Amen.